Everybody, hello and good morning. I am so pumped to be here. It is Monday morning. It is Manifestation Monday over in my Wild Tribe. So for those of you who are part of my Wild Tribe, head on over there. Let us know what you're declaring for the week. As a matter of fact, let me know in the comments, what are you declaring for the week? Because we're going to be talking a lot about manifestation, money, mindset, all of those things, because this is something that you guys have really been reaching out and asking for me to pour in and really, give you guys a kickstart in that. So we're going to be diving into that a lot this week. This is week 2. Can you guys believe it has been an entire week since we kicked off the Woman of Wealth and Worth Summit? Oh my gosh. You guys, I am so honored to be here, to be your host, to be your coach, to be all of the things for you guys. I am just so lit up by your causes, by your purposes, by all the things that you guys are doing. You guys have just been pouring your heart, pouring your time into all of these things. I love it. I am so pumped to be here with you guys. And we are kicking off week 2 with one amazing person. What's up, my girl, Drea? Lori's in the house as well. Hello. So, ladies, I am super pumped to be introducing our next guest. Her name is Jess Bubbico. And from the moment we got on a Zoom call, I connected with her, and she is this beautiful presence. She actually reminds me of one of my really good friends who I was in a leadership program with. Her name is Elizabeth Valdez. She's my Valdez. And they remind me so much of each other. So when you meet somebody and right away they you have that connection, you have that that friendship, right? That feeling of, wow, there's this familiarity. Well, Jess Bubbico is mind-blowing. Full disclosure, I don't, I think I shared with you guys yesterday when we were talking about money, I don't know a lot about human design. It's not necessarily something that I personally study or dive into. And, when I first learned about it, it's been less than a month that I even thought about it. And when I first heard about it, it didn't make any sense to me. None. But the way Jess explains it made sense. She is going to reveal all things human design. And not only that, she also reads my chart during this interview. So it's a little bit lengthy of an interview. It's about 40 minutes long, just to forewarn you guys in case if you need to create margin, create time to watch it. The first half, she dives into a ton of stuff, tons of information. We go a little bit long. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it because I know that, some of you guys, you're busy, you have all these things. I feel so honored that you guys are spending your most valuable resource with us here, which is your time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am super pumped. If you're pumped, let me know in the comments. And what are you manifesting? What are you declaring for the week? That's what I really want to know. I really want to know what you're declaring for the week, because your goals and dreams are my goals and dreams. They're important to me. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing all the things that you beautiful women are working towards. And I will be reading the comments. I'll be here with you. So again, this is about 40 minutes long. It's 40 minutes and 34 seconds to be exact. So we'll jump in, and I hope you enjoy.
All of it needed to somehow come together in a way that I hadn't seen done by anyone else before. And I started to realize, like, I love teaching people how to listen to and cultivate their connection with their intuition. I also really enjoy helping them understand, like, who they are and the energetics and mechanics of who they are. And what I started to realize is, like, literally none of us fit in a box. And these boxes that we created, I think societally, it's like, I don't know who really fits into that.
Hey guys, welcome to the Woman of Wealth and Worth Summit, where we are talking all about how to tap into your deeper purpose and build the life and the business of your dreams. Today we have a very special treat. We have a guest she says that her purpose is that to wake up what is already within inside of you. And she believes that as a collective, we are stepping into our gifts, into our purpose. And I don't know about you, but I can feel that hugely during this time with the world shifting and changing and growing. So Jess is going to tell us all about how she does that. And she's going to share a very special gift with us as well. Welcome, Jess.
Hey, Val, thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I am just like, you guys, if I could even like share with you how excited I am about this interview, I cannot even put into words, because let me tell you, the first conversation that Jess and I had, we were just like, so like this energetic, like, really cool dance. And I am just so impressed by her energy, by who she is and how she shows up as a person. So Jess, tell us a little bit about you and how did you get here today?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited to be here, and I totally agree. I'm really excited to be a part of this and to also like really like my purpose is to really wake women and men up to who they are at their core, because I think in order to really align with wealth and to align with abundance, like it's all about aligning with our true selves and the core essence of who we are. It's so easy in this day and age in the social media world and the media world in general to be like, I think I need to like check this box or check that box, or I'm supposed to do this or I'm supposed to do that, or how do I fit myself into this thing? And I think we're really coming to a time where we are being invited into discovering our own individuality, discovering our own purpose, and walking into wealth, walking into abundance by completely being and embodying ourselves, because there is absolutely no one else who is you. Like we are all snowflakes. There's no one else who is you. And so there is a purpose inside of you that is unique to you, and we need it. You know, we all fit into this collective puzzle in one way, shape, or form. And, you know, each of us is being invited to bring our uniqueness through. So I'm super excited to talk with you about that today.
Awesome. And that is just so much what this summit has embodied. You know, it's just that wealth and that worthiness is not about just a financial gain. It's about the wealth and the abundance of discovering who you really are at the core. Because, you know, let me know if this lines up with you, but I have really realized that I love that you use the word invitation. We are being invited to look at ourselves. We're being invited to look at what doesn't work and what works, and really go deeper within and find that true purpose. And I truly believe that there's a shift happening where that cookie cutter version of, you know, you go to school, you get a whole bunch of debt, you get a good job, you work, you retire, you know, this cookie cutter life is not working anymore. Is this a lot of what you're seeing, like with your work with your clients? And what are you feeling during this time?
Totally. I just had a conversation where I'm like, the younger generations, where they're like having this sort of revolution as it relates to school with like Corona, like everything that's going on. I'm like, they're going to waste so much less money on college education than I think we did. Like they'll be hopefully in less debt for sure. But yeah, I think, you know, I started out as a speech therapist, and I was like really heavily in brain science. And I was a brain injury specialist and like was really into like nutrition and how it affects the body. And I ended up kind of hitting my spiritual path and moving into like rediscovering parts of myself, where I started doing intuitive readings and mediumship readings, connecting in with people who had crossed over and bringing families into healing, you know? And so I had these two very separate ways of being, where one was, you know, very brain science based in the body, and the other was this energetic and spiritual healing. And so I ended up like my process and my journey, and I think this is the process and journey for most people, is this process and journey of discovery of self. And instead of like, do I fit into this box of like the psychic or intuitive? Do I fit into this box of the, you know, brain science, brain specialist? You know, who am I, and like, how do I bring my gifts forth and come out in a way that works for me? Because I couldn't fit myself into the psychic box. I was like, I love psychics, and I definitely like, that's a piece of me, like that is a piece of my energy, but it's not, it didn't embody the fullness of what I wanted to be able to help people with. You know, the mediumship stuff, like all of it needed to somehow come together in a way that I hadn't seen done by anyone else before. And I started to realize, like, I love teaching people how to listen to and cultivate their connection with their intuition. I also really enjoy helping them understand like who they are and the energetics and mechanics of who they are. And what I started to realize is like, literally none of us fit in a box. And these boxes that we created, I think societally, it's like, I don't know who really fits into them. And that's why I agree with you. I think we're being invited into a time of like, kind of closing, I don't want to say closing our ears, but like closing our ears to sort of the societal norms of like what's supposed to happen. And we're being invited into self-discovery. And through self-discovery and true internal alignment, which we'll talk about a little bit today, like, I think that's truly where the wellspring of our abundance comes from, because we no longer separate, here's how I make money because I have to, and then here's who I get to kick back and be on the weekends. It's like there is this integration of all parts of self, and we can start to operate in our lives sort of from a place of wholeness, as opposed to a place of like having to be different people in different places.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel that to my core, because, you know, that for me in the corporate world, that was very much how it was. I literally felt like I had to like hide a piece of me, and like I could be one person at work, but I couldn't really be myself, you know. And I love that you brought that up with the brain, because I too was into brain science. Like I love brain science, and a part of that, like, it makes sense because there's science backing. And then you talked about that coming out in your spiritual world, which, oh my gosh, I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that, because I went through that too when I was like, okay, I'm in business, but I also have this spiritual side of me that's so important, and it's so much who I am. I can't not talk about it. And I'm thinking about the woman, because I hear this a lot in my business with my clients. I'm sure you do too, that, you know, they're afraid to talk about these certain things because it might seem really out there or really woo, or, you know, maybe they're going to get judged. Like, how did you walk through that process of having this, like, you were a speech therapist, you were into brain science, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, and there's this other part of me that's so beautiful and gorgeous and vulnerable, right? There's a huge vulnerability about the spiritual world. How did you come out of that?
Great question, with a lot of resistance, I would say. Yeah, so I was really unhappy in my first job. I'd come out of grad school, and I knew the whole time I was in grad school, I was like, this is not for me. And I love kids, and I love like working with especially adults in the brain science area, you know, traumatic brain injury recovery. And I remember the summer between school, like the school, you know, summer between school years, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I need to go. I went to a psychic. I was like, my mom used to go to psychics. They used to tell her some stuff. It seemed pretty accurate. I'm going to go to one. And I said to this woman, I'm like, I have always had, you know, what I called at the time, like ESP. Like, I've always just been really tuned in. And like, I feel like I can do what you do. And she's like, yeah, you can. And I have a class that's starting up in a couple weeks. I ended up taking it. One thing led to another, and I started mentoring with a woman who was a medium. And so I started like really stepping into mediumship. And I really believe everyone has the ability to connect in their own way. Like everybody is intuitive. I don't think it's just reserved to certain people. And I think that this is my personal opinion. I think we're going to see this like coming more and more in the mainstream with people. I was watching this show, The Politician, if anybody's seen it on Netflix, and Gwyneth Paltrow's on there. And it's like it's like a dark comedy, but you know, they have a shaman on there trying to help the kid. And like, did you put the crystals in his armpits? And like, you know, just we're seeing it. I feel like spirituality is starting to like creep its way into more mainstream. So I do think this is a time where it's opening for many people. But it was tough at first. You know, when I was a kid, I had a lot of experiences with people who had crossed over. I lost a lot of people when I was young, and they would come through to me. So like, for example, me and my mom and my grandmom are all born on the same day. And
wow.
My grandma, my grandma was hit by a car crossing the street. And I used to pray at night. Like I would call it praying. And I would like lay there and like pray. And I would, I was like 16 and I could feel something sitting on my bed, like rubbing my back. And I'm like, I'm crazy. Like, this is what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, I'm crazy. This is nuts. And I just said, you know, my mom had some PTSD following because she had been at the hospital and I'd seen her. And she was like, I can't have dreams about her. Like, I really want to dream about her. And I was like, all right, mom wants to have a dream about you. Go visit her in her dreams. I wake up the next morning and go downstairs. My mom's like, I had this really weird dream. I was like looking through a keyhole into your bedroom and I could see grandma sitting on your bed. And I was like, oh my God, I was talking. I thought she was sitting on my bed last night and I told her to visit you in your dreams. And so I had these experiences where enough of my family like knew I had these kind of spiritual experiences. I remember calling my best friend in the whole world and telling her like, hey, I'm like really experiencing spirituality and like this avenue's opening up. And she was like, yeah, you were always kind of a little weird growing up, you know, like she was joking around, but it wasn't super easy because I was going from like such a stark difference, which is like brain specialist basically, to like talking to dead people, you know, kind of thing. It was like such a stark contrast that I had to really navigate. I've tended in my lifetime to be like an all or nothing kind of person. So I like really needed to dive in and understand it. And then my business has been a back and forth. Like I was doing like coaching on how to start a business and like own your purpose, and coaching on how to open up to your intuitive gifts. And because I have both that like masculine, that feminine, like I have that mind, like I have that rational mind. And then I also have the spirituality, the more of the feminine, that I've had to figure out how they flow together, which is actually where human design comes in, because it's given me a good balance of both. And I think for people who are starting to dip their toe into spirituality and like starting to feel that opening for themselves, I think it actually gives people a bridge to go, wow, that chart says that thing, and I've experienced that in my life and know that to be true of myself. This is a nice sort of in between of both. So how I navigated it was not very like, it wasn't always easy, but it was so authentic. Like it felt so authentic to me to step into it that I don't know, I had to get over my fears, truthfully.
Yeah, I love that.
So.
Because you talk about that, like, it felt so good. And it's interesting. I was just talking to a client about this. Like, there's that space where, you know, I feel like so many of us are just kind of like going along doing what we think we should be doing, which I hate shoulding. But like, you know, whether if that's a society thing or maybe it's a strong influence from our parents, because I know there's a lot of that. Like, I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to make people mad. I don't want to rock the boat, so to say. But, you know, when it's like a hell yes for you and like you're scary and you're like hell yes at the same time, like that is when you know that this is like your soul calling, right? And it sounds like you definitely experienced that when you were able to step into it.
Yeah, totally. And it took, like I said, like, and I think the thing for most of us is like, there's experimentation around a lot of these things. And I think likely what you so beautifully do with people is invite them into a space of possibility where like they can dream and have their desires, which I'm really excited to like go over pieces of just like what innately is in your chart. Because I think like, again, this can be a nice bridge to be like, yeah, I wonder, like these things do feel really innate for me, you know, like this does feel really good. But I would bet you like really nicely hold people in a space of possibility where they can play around and know that there is a space for them to experiment and try and feel into who is Jess? What is she like? How does she create abundance in her life, etc. So yeah, I think it's experimental in a lot of ways. I think it's like learning when you say hell yes, because your hell yes is actually based upon like this very subconscious, like I'm going to make my parents happy, or I'll be really accepted by people around me, versus when your hell yes is like, I'm actually stepping potentially out of a community that I was like comfortable or safe in and into like so much of what's authentic for me. Like I think there's a lot of play that can happen in stepping into who you really truly are at your core. And I think having community around you and people who can guide you from that place of possibility and wanting to see, you know, holding that energy of like, I want to see you succeed and be you, as opposed to like, I want you to be you, but here's the rules of how you be you, because this is what's acceptable in our family or in our friend group or whatever it may be. So super important. So we can all learn those hell yeses.
I love that. And I love too that when you called your friend and said, oh my gosh, I'm a medium, like I'm doing these things. It's like, yeah, you're always kind of weird as a kid. Like, I think a lot of women watching this right now are going to get that. Like they've either been told they're weird or too much or too out there. So I would love for you to explain for those who do not know, because like I don't know a lot about human design. I know that you know, you asked for my birth date, my time of date, where I was born, and that's somehow like, but what is human design in a basic way if someone doesn't know about it?
Yes, beautiful question. Okay, so human design, the way that I see human design is that human design is like a manual for your car. Your car is Val. When we're born, it's like you were born as a car and no one really gave you the manual for your car. And maybe you were a Hyundai, let's say you were a Maserati. You're a Maserati and like your mom is like a Hummer and your dad is like a Honda, right? They were trying to both give you these two manuals to drive your car. And you're like, okay, well, the windows go down, like the Hummer's windows go down. So like this button must work in that way, right? Like that, but we sometimes don't get the mechanics of our own car. We don't get the manual for our own car. Mm-hmm. And so human design is like the manual for your own car to go like, my mom's a Hummer, my dad is a Honda. These books work for them, but who am I and what book works for me? Human design is kind of like the manual to you, the manual to your energy. It helps you to understand how to use your energy in sustainable ways, your purpose, understand like how to trust your intuition and make decisions for yourself. So it's the manual and like the book of you is the way I see it. It brings together astrology, it brings together the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the quantum physics. It brings together all of these beautiful different sciences to really just help you go, how do I make decisions for myself? How do I listen to my own intuition? You know, what is my purpose? So I would love to share your chart and actually just share 3 key components of your chart that I think people who know you will be able to go like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's in her chart, that like, that's her business and it's right here. So I'm going to screen share, and the 3 pieces I want to share with you are purpose, intuition, and decision-making.
Let me make sure you can.
Oh, I think you just have to give me screen sharing permission.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to go over what all of the things in this chart mean. However, I'm going to go through a couple of important components. In human design, there's 5 archetypes. There's the manifestor, the manifesting generator, the reflector, and the projector. What we really need to know for your chart is that you're a manifesting generator. And this in the new quantum quantum human design system, which is what Karen Curry Parker is developing. She's somebody who works specifically with human design, is like the time bender. You really help people catapult into this like next phase for themselves. Mm-hmm. As a manifesting generator, your energy, you have a lot of fire in your engine. When you're doing work that you really, really love, your engine is like, you're meant to wake up in the morning with a full tank of gas and like run your engine out by the end of the day doing stuff that you love. So as a manifesting generator, you're really here to do work that you love. And you might find that you take on a bunch of different projects at once. So you might be doing this project here. You might have a project that you're doing with your partner. You know, you are starting to run a marathon. Like, you have a lot of energy to do a lot of things. And as a manifesting generator, the way that you make decisions is that, number one, you are constantly responding to your environment. So I would assume that when you decided that you were going to do like the Women of Wealth Summit, you probably heard a need in the environment of like women talking about like wealth and abundance, and maybe even like during coronavirus where maybe there's things that are happening. How do you create wealth and abundance? It's like, that's something for me to respond to. That's a need that's happening, that's out there, that I really feel called to address. So as somebody, you're here to work, doing work you love, have a lot of projects going at once, and to be responding to the environment around you going, there's a need here, there's a need there. This is really interesting. I'm hearing my clients say this. You know, my husband and I like keep trying to hang a picture on the wall, but it keeps falling off of the wall. Like, that's a need for me to respond to. I'm gonna fix the wall this weekend. You know, it's like you're constantly kind of picking up on your environment. For you personally, I'm gonna actually go, you talked about the hell yes. And the hell yes is contained in like this part of the chart right here, okay? The hell yes is this response that goes, yep, uh-huh. For you, it's a yes. It'll come out of your throat. You'll go, yes, I want to do that, or no, I don't want to do it. And some people have this, and some people don't have this. I don't have this. I have an emotional authority, which means I'll probably feel this intuitive feeling around what's right for me. And then I need to go through this emotional process where my emotions go up and my emotions go down, and I know that this decision is right for me. For you, you're going to get that gut instinct where it's going to actually come right out of your mouth. You're going to go, yes, that's me. Yes, I want to do that. Or no, I don't. And because you have that emotional authority, you're going to say yes. And then you're like, I'm going to say to you, hey, Val, do you want to do a podcast together? And your immediate reaction is going to be yes. And then you're going to sit back for a little bit and make sure that that yes stays a yes overnight. You're going to sleep on it. Mm. So some people can make a yes in the moment and they know it's a yes. For you, you're just like, yes. And then you just want to make sure that over the next 24 hours, it stays a yes so that you know it's the right thing for you to enter into. Does that resonate for you?
Oh my goodness, 100%. And that's interesting because one of my mentors I've been working with for like 8 years, literally, I remember a couple of years back, she gave me the assignment that you'll say yes because it feels good. But then I'll be like, oh my gosh, that doesn't actually fit into my schedule, you know? And so she's given me that assignment to say, can I get back to you? Let me look at my schedule. Yes. Like, that's actually an assignment she gave me like 4 years ago. And it works because I am just like, yes, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Yes. And taking on way too many things, honestly, like, but I love it. I thrive in that energy. So this is totally 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's interesting for you when we look at your emotional wave in particular, because it's called an emotional wave. It's just that up and down, that like, heck yeah, let's do this. Hell yeah, I'm in. Your emotional wave is fueled by desire, and passion. So you have this sort of sharp, like, yes, like it's going to be a big yes. And then there will be times when the passion drops off. until you find the next thing to catapult you in your yes. So you just want to make sure you take that time, you take 24 hours, and it needs to stay a yes for 24 hours for you before you fully dive into it. And sometimes a little longer for those bigger decisions. Now, if I was just like, do you want to get pizza? And you're like, hell yeah, I've been thinking about that all day. I love pizza. That's not a big deal. But like when it involves your resources and your time and your energy, you really want to be making sure that your decisions come from that solid place. And then I'll talk about a couple things because I know that do we have like 5 minutes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So in your chart, there is purpose. And in particular, it shows up here in your chart. And I love your purpose because your purpose will either be experienced for anybody who's watching this. Your purpose, like what you're really here to shine out into the world, you'll either really be experiencing it because you've really like worked on yourself and you've done that work of like where you've been kind of conditioned like by family. Like I said, my friends being like, yeah, you were kind of weird. Like I just had to get over being weird, you know, like I just had to be okay with it. You'll either really experience it or you might be totally on the other opposite end, like disempowered by it. But what it's showing you is when a pendulum swings one way, when you think of those clocks, like the ticking clock, with that pendulum, it swings one way and it's gonna swing the other way. And we can get support to support us in it swinging the other way. So for you, this is no surprise, the energy of pure desire, like your purpose is around desire and teaching people how to embrace desire and step into desire and own desire. It's the gate 30 is like, it's called the gate of clinging fire. And it's about feelings and following that feeling, following pure desire energy. So you're really here to teach people how to follow their desires, how to embody desire. And as the way it's called a fifth line. You're really here to like be seen doing that, like to be stepped in. The fact that you have this platform where you are interviewing people, like you're stepping up as a leader into this space of being seen, helping people embody their desires. How does that feel for you? Does that resonate?
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting because you talked about that pendulum swinging, and like before, you know, like my dark night of the soul, like I disempowered myself. So it's interesting how like our greatest work, you know, is also the biggest work we do in the world, because I had been disempowered since I was a kid. And that was like my biggest thing, to be able to swing the pendulum and be like in my leadership and not resent that, because I'm always in leadership, no matter where it's at, like always. And so my greatest work has been to like not drown that out and just be in my leadership and be okay with that. So yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah. Well, and what's so beautiful about that is for anybody who's listening, who's like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? I'm not there. It's like literally, typically for most people, where our greatest shadow is where our purpose is.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, interestingly enough, mine is in the love of spirit and learning to listen to and tune into and love spirit so we can all experience more joy and more love. I mean, I can't tell you how much I was like, there would be times where I'd be like, I'm not doing this energy. Like, I can't, like, I'm not, because I was terrified, you know, of what people were going to think. I mean, what my parents thought. They're like, we love corporate life. And like, what are you doing, you crazy child? Like, what are we even supposed to tell our friends you do? So there's a lot of wounding there for me. And I still work, like, honestly, truly, I still work on it, you know? So I think for all of us, don't be afraid if you're sitting here going, that, like, you know, part of that, I'm scared to step into, or that, you know, I don't feel that for myself or see myself that way. This is a calling and an invitation. Okay. So what you're meant to be doing behind the scenes with people, like one-on-one, when you're in your like coaching or your groups, or, you know, what you're doing, like when you're not up front in front of everyone, is all about ambition. And it's called the Marrying Maiden, which is all about marrying with other people to increase wealth. Interesting that you have the Women of Wealth Summit, you know, it's like, it's all about helping people increase their wealth through ambition, like finding their ambition and like really stepping into it. And what's cool about it is it's about making wealth and like making ambition look good. Like you are here to make it look good. You're here to make it visually look good. You're here to have great pictures up. I saw the picture of you walking on the beach the other day. Like you are here to present visual things that make people really see like this is how wealth and ambition can really create beauty in your life. So you're really here to help other people see that and to visually see how that looks. And then like clientele and who you're here to help, you're really here to help your clients have breakthroughs and have insight and look at patterns that it's the gate 45 or 43 rather. You're here to help them have insights into who they are and break through patterns that are no longer serving them so that they can really truly follow their purpose and who they came here to be. How does that all resonate with you?
Oh my goodness. I was like getting chills when you said that because I was like, is it just the women I attract or is it something inside of me? I was literally just thinking about this, like every single client in my world right now was, they were doing well. They were making, 100, 200,000 a year. But all of a sudden when they came to me, like, that's something I always say, like, are you noticing a pattern? Like, that's one of my words. So when you said patterns, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's totally me. And the weird thing is, like, I'm realizing all these women right now in real time are having breakthroughs of like, I'm teaching the wrong niche. Like, I don't even get lit up by this. And they're stuck in these, like, they've created successful, membership sites and stuff that aren't even aligned with them. And so they're resentful. Yeah. And I'm like, this gets to be easy. You get to create it however you want to create it. It's your business. So I am like, it's weird because that's been, probably for the last 9 months to a year has been like every single client who's come to me has been just like this huge breakthrough right away where they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like my audience, And so that is just that is so much in alignment. Yes.
Yeah. So you're very aligned. And here's the magic of this. And you just said it. When you are aligned and you are speaking about wealth and you're speaking about ambition and you're speaking about breakthrough and insight, you're aligned to you and you are being you everywhere you go. And you're being in the energy of what feels good for you. And so then people naturally notice you for that and go, hey, Val, I know you always talk about that. That's what I want. And then sure, there will be people who come in who think they want what you have, but they don't really want what you have. People come to you because the way these charts work, the way our energy works and the mechanics of our energy is like, this is just energy that's consistently running through you. It's just consistent for you. It's like you have an engine that's a 34B engine, right? That's consistent for you. Somebody's going to open up the hood to your car. They're going to see that engine there. They're not going to, they go to another car and like that car is a 20B engine. They're going to lift that engine, that hood up and see that, this is consistent. So if you can stay in this, there's going to be tweaks to make. There's going to be things to learn about yourself. You're going to grow and you're going to evolve. But this is like the main energetics of like what you're bringing forth. And so when we can truly step into, I used to do one-on-one work, a lot of one-on-one work. I do the readings now because it kind of speed engines people up. But when I started looking at my chart, my whole thing is all about the tribe and tribal energy and bringing people into a tribe. Now I only really do group programs and then I do the readings because they light me up. But I don't do any one-on-one coaching anymore. It's not, I kept feeling like this is so off and I don't know what to do about it. And then I was like, oh, I don't have to do this. But there was the fear of jumping into groups because what if no one signs up? Like, what if? And then it was like, oh, once I actually just jumped into it and got over the fear, everything changed, and everything started flowing so much more abundantly. And I loved what I was doing. So for you in particular, there's just a couple of things to maybe note. What you talked about with your coach, this head center is what's called the crown. It's totally open, like 100% open, which means that you are catching inspiration just like a car radio is attuned to all channels at one time. You could tune on this channel and be like, oh, wow, I'm listening to, I don't know, Backstreet Boys radio and like this, 90s radio, and that's super cool. And this one's like the now today hits, and this one, whatever it may be. You have to check in with your gut and your emotions, that emotional wave for yourself. You got to check in with that. Like, does a hell yes come out of my mouth? Does an come out of my mouth? Like, is it a yes or a no? And then just let that emotional wave pass to know which inspirations are for you. Because you'll like walk past a pair of glittery shoes and be like, I'm so inspired to do a podcast on like how we're all unicorns. Yeah. And it's like, okay, hold the phone. Let me tune into my gut and see what it has to say about it.
Yeah.
And you have feelings are a big one for you, being able to like taste the right opportunity. So in terms of like intuition, you'll be able to really feel like when you start turning on, like, what do I feel? How do I feel about this? Does it move me? There's a lot of taste involved. Does it taste right? Like, does this opportunity taste right? You can ask yourself, like, taste is a scent for you, as well as clear cognizance, which is just knowing, like, you just know that this is the right thing to do or not. So you can really tune into your clear knowingness as a channel for you to say, yeah, this is it. As well as your feeling like you are like in many ways, you probably have this like mama bear energy where you're like, I'm going to make sure my people are nurtured. And if you screw with them, I'm going to come after you kind of energy. So for you in particular, like that's a very nurturing energy. So you'll be able to really feel if something feels right or not. So that's you in like a very brief overview. Like I said, decision-making, purpose, and intuition in the chart. So
wow,
that's it.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that, just hearing, because I've never heard about human design and it made sense to me. But that made sense to me. Like everything you said, like I remember I was kind of interested after I heard some women talk about it, and they were talking about the gates and all of that. And I was like, I have no idea what this even means, like a YouTube video, but the way you did it made so much sense. And I can see that everything you touched on would definitely, it plays out in my life and it plays out in my business. And, even the whole fact of like, you talking about the fact that I know, and I used to second guess that a lot because I would be like, how can I know? I don't know. And I remember, getting myself into situations or partnerships in my business that didn't end up being great. And like, I knew from the beginning, but I doubted it. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I can see how this type of thing would really help a lot of people who are watching this, if they have that awareness, because I truly believe to be a strong leader, you have to have like an inventory of who you are. You have to know your strengths and your weaknesses. So yeah, I think this would be very helpful for a lot of the people who are watching this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, what it is for me, it gives you an anchor to go like, here's what's natural for me. And people have been like, how do you know? Just get, I think about dating, right? Like you get that gut hunch, it's not the right person. And they're like, come on, just give them a chance. You're so picky. And it's like, 3 months later, you end up being like, I was totally right about that. I should have trusted my gut. It's like, these are just little touch points that we can look at and be like, oh, this is how I can trust myself more. This is how I can embody more of who I am. And whenever I do these, like, I like to bring through intuitively what's coming through as well. So it's this combination of like intuitive guidance and understanding the mechanics so that I like people to be independent. I want you to be able to take this and go do something and be you, because I think the world needs everybody to be themselves. We'll be a happier space if we can embody the wholeness of who we are.
Yes, I believe that. I think more than ever before, because we've been living in such a like Instagrammable world, that we need more people to just come forward, be who they are, and be very like unapologetic about that. Yeah, I believe that that's the work you're doing. And so for people who are watching this who are interested in getting their own reading, I know you have a special offer for our viewers today. So can you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a website that I will send over to you, a page where you can sign up. But these are called Embody Your Intuition sessions, and they are essentially exactly what we just went over. So we'll be talking about number one, how does your intuition speak to you? Number two, what is your purpose? Like what's innate for you, like we just talked about, as well as, like I said, your decision-making process, and really understanding the places and spaces where you might go off center or you might go awry based on just past conditioning, but also where you're just very open to the environment around you. So those are $88. I'll send you the link so that everybody can check it out if you're interested. And like I said, I'll bring through intuitive guidance as well as we're doing these so that you can really like live in alignment with who you are, and create that in your business as well, because that's what we need right now.
I love it. So where can people find you on social media?
Yes, everything is Jess the Intuitive. So you can head to jesstheintuitive.com to check out my website, as well as Jess the Intuitive on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jess. Thank you for being so generous and sharing your gifts with us. And yeah, I see how this whole human design thing is definitely a life changer. And I love that you have been so open, so authentic, and just so from the heart with us today. So thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you tomorrow. Bye. Oh my goodness, ladies. Don't you just freaking love her? Jess was here in the chat with us. I'm not sure if she's still here, but she was in the chat with us watching along. She is amazing. Don't you just love her? Like, she's got these like this wild vibe to her, and she's just beautiful. So that was absolutely one of my favorite interviews. Thanks for hanging out and hanging in. I am cheersing you guys today. I've got my wine glass of water instead of my sparkly water in the champagne glass today. But, gotta hydrate. I got a little bit of sun this last weekend. Got a little burnt. For those of you who are watching in my stories, I flipped on a raft, on a floaty in the rapids. So I flipped, lost my favorite water bottle, but you know what? I'm going to manifest a new one. You guys want to manifest it with me? Because I'm just going to manifest a new one. This one was really special, but I'm still believing that maybe it'll show up. So I salute you guys. Happy Manifestation Monday. What a beautiful way to kick off week 2. Let me know in the comments, what were your biggest takeaways from Jess? She dropped so many nuggets. I've got coffee. Drea, I don't know if you just saw in our text message thread this morning, we're part of a leadership team together. I had a little baby Yoda with his coffee mug. It was super cute. I can't drink too much coffee. It makes me sick. I don't know if it really even affects me, honestly. But you guys, what were your takeaways? What did you love about Jess? What did you hear her say? What landed for you? I would love to know in your comments. And of course, I have posted a couple of quotes from her here in this group. Feel free to share those out. If you share it out, make sure that you tag me and tag her in it. And of course, you guys are going to go into the drawing if you tag it. So I would love to get you in the drawing. I'm giving away tons of stuff this week because, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so lit up. Things have just been amazing in this group. We've been able to raise money for the Upper Peninsula Animal Welfare Shelter. We've raised about $80. I would love to raise more money for them. I'm going to bring them on later to give them the check, hopefully. I'm trying to connect with their staff there. We have been able to just give back in a huge way. We've been able to bless people. And I want to leave you guys with a thought. So yesterday, we were talking about your limiting beliefs in money. We were talking about the things that can really keep you stuck. And today, what I want to encourage you guys with, because what you can count on for me is I'm going to be talking about money mindset for the rest of the week. It's been very highly requested. So what you can count on for me is I'm gonna reveal all the things. I'm gonna go deep and I'm gonna tell you all the things, just like Jess did today. She did an amazing job of kicking off this week and going big. So what I would love to share with you guys is, when you talk about your mindset, your mentality, so many things that Jess talked about today is really leading from your strengths and living in perfect balance with your weaknesses, right? So this goes right along with what I want to share today is that, you really need to watch your thoughts, watch your words and watch your thoughts around so many things, because your words and your thoughts and your ideas, like every single thing in your life, like it creates this framework. And with your thoughts and your actions, you can, your experiences create your beliefs, which create your words, which create your thoughts. And your thoughts create your experiences, which create your beliefs, which create your reality, right? Like, so it's like this big cycle. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. I'm not going to debate that. Who knows? But, here's the thing, like whatever happens is it's this continuous cycle. It's a continuous cycle. And we talked about that today with Jess. We talked about how, she shared with me that my biggest strength is that passion and that saying yes and knowing. And also that was some of my biggest work to do, right? And, being in a healthy money mindset today, I do things like drink water out of a wine glass. I celebrate with champagne glass. I don't drink, but, I celebrate with a sparkling water and champagne glasses. Like I make sure that I solidify the feelings. We talked about that a lot last night. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch, because I taught you guys exactly how to get into that feeling of celebration, that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of abundance, that feeling of enough. And why I encourage you to really watch your thoughts and watch what you say, watch your words, because your words can be so empowering. Your thoughts can take you to a whole other level, and your thoughts can also really drag you down. Again, your thoughts create your actions, which create your experiences. Your experience create your thoughts, which create your words, which create your actions. So it's this ongoing cycle. And if you're constantly, there's some sort of mentalities, like I remember, I'll just be fully transparent with you guys. I remember, I grew up probably, I'm not really sure, like, I would say like lower middle class. I don't know, maybe even lower class. But there were times when we were so poor that we, the electricity would get shut off, or, things like that. Like I never remember like not having food. As a matter of fact, I used food as comfort when I was a kid. I was a very chubby kid. And, but I did grow up hearing things in my life. I did grow up observing things, which created a framework in my life that I wasn't enough, right? I talked about this last night. I talked about how, my growing up, my biological dad did not pay child support. And so that really gave me this belief. It gave me this framework that I wasn't worthy. It gave me a framework that I wasn't worthy of money. And I ended up carrying that for many, many decades into my life. And, what I know is true today is that our thoughts are so powerful. We are called to be constantly renewing our minds, right? To take our thoughts captive. All of these things that are so true to a cellular level, because whether you know it or not, and this is crazy. I was just talking to one of my clients this morning about this, because she's has a womb mate. She's creating a little baby in her womb. And it's interesting, but really when you study brain science and all of those things, like we actually we're creating thoughts and framework, and we're creating ideas about the world even in the womb. Isn't that crazy? Like even in the womb. And my mom, again, she's a miracle. I love her. She's beautiful. She's done so much work to be where she's at today. But, growing up, she was really angry. She was in a very abusive situation with my father. He made a lot of money. My biological dad made a ton of money as a salesman. And so there was a lot of money. We had a really nice house. We had everything we needed. But there was like alcoholism. He was a cocaine addict. He was also on the bishopric at church. So there was a lot of confusing information, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of confusing information. Like I remember seeing him come home drunk and beat up my mom. So there was a lot of feelings of I was to blame for that. And what ended up happening is, as soon as my mom left that situation that was very abusive, all of a sudden we were poor and we were moving around a lot. We were always trying to escape. We were always trying to get away. We were always running away from something. Let me tell you, always running away from something. So in my adult life, I use that same framework. Like I literally, once I did the work that I teach in my Woman of Wealth and Worth program, I discovered and uncovered the fact that I believed, you guys, it's so crazy when I say it today because I don't have that emotional charge around it anymore, but like this is my truth. I truly believed that having money equated abusive relationship. Having money to me equated chaos and fighting. And so, even to like this day, it's really uncomfortable for me to talk about money with my spouse. Like I realized that, and I was challenged to actually, because we have, I don't know, maybe this is too personal, but like we have separate finances. It just works for us, like I contribute to the household and stuff, but like we have separate finances because he's taking over a business. I have a business. We have a business together. It just works for us that way. It's so easy. It's so much easier, you guys. Like, so we have separate finances. And I always had this thought, like, if he knew how much money I made, that it would cause like fights in our relationship, which is like, not even true. We both came to the table bringing a lot into the relationship, in our human growth, in the relationship, money-wise, like we both, but like honestly to this day, I don't really know how much money he has, and that's okay. I have a ball frame, like I have a mind, like a thought of it, but like I equated having money with fights. And the thing is, like I ended up creating situations in my 20s where money was constantly a fight in my relationships. With my first husband, like, he never made money. He was always like in between jobs, chasing all these opportunities. I was the breadwinner. And so like I kept reaffirming to myself, because our thoughts create our actions, create our ideas, create our reality, right? So I was creating situations where I was the breadwinner, and paying the mortgage on my own, doing all these things. Like I created these situations. And then in later in my 20s, like still, like I always had these situations where money was the biggest thing in our relationships. And we can carry this with anything, whether if this is our self-worth, if it's our mindset and thoughts about money, if it's our mindset and thoughts about relationships. Another thing I picked up from my parent was that all a lot of stuff about men too. And like, this is like the reality that our thoughts create our actions, which create our reality. If you don't believe me, take your thoughts captive. Spend the next 24 hours. I want to challenge you guys. Hey, Lori. So I want to challenge you guys to really like pay attention to your thoughts. They might be stopping you from taking the action that you truly need to hit that next level, to break past whatever limiting beliefs you have, to break past whatever it is that you're trying to break through in your life. Because when you realize that your mindset plays such a huge game in your life, because your thoughts become what the words you speak, which become your actions, which become your reality. And in a crazy way, and you guys, this is not true for every single person ever in the history of the world ever. Things happen to us that, we don't have power over, we don't have control over. But, honestly, the accumulation of your life is really, honestly, it stems from your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindset. It stems from all of these things. So for the next 24 hours, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to be so aware of the thoughts that you have. To be so aware of the thoughts that you're allowing into your life. Because you know what? When you first start out in this work, let me just give you guys some confidence in this. Like, when you first start off in this work, you're going to still have those thoughts more than you realize. And the power in it, the first step in taking power over that, is your awareness. Your awareness is so key in this. And, still today, I'll still have thoughts that I'm like I just go there, right? Because it's like, it's so ingrained in me. I, carried this for 28 years of my life. I had this very negative mentality, very like, whatever, victim mentality. So my first thought might pop up. But instead of like running with it, and you guys, you know this, and you know what I'm talking about, right? When you run with something and you're like, oh, that guy just cut me off in traffic, and you run with it, right? And 3 hours later, you're still fired up about that guy cutting you off in traffic. You know, like, instead of entertaining that thought, instead of entertaining that idea, what I do today is I just go, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And I get to switch my thought, right? We all have the power. We are powerless over people, places, things, but we have the power within us to choose something different. We all have the power within us to choose a different thought. And when you come at your day from that place, from that space, you're embodying what it is to be the woman of wealth and worth. You are embodying the power to have control of your day, to have control of your reactions, because that's all we have, right? We don't have control over what people will do. We don't have control over what happens in our lives, but we have the power to respond. And that all starts out right here. Right here. What are you allowing to rent space in your mind that no longer serves you? And if you make a list of that today, if you were to like make out a list of what do I know is true in my life today? What do I know is true for me? And what do I know that I truly desire? And then align yourself with the correct thoughts and the correct actions. You know, last night, if you guys go back and watch the video, if you didn't see it, I talked about, you know, really writing down the 5 feelings you would have when over the next 30 days, I gave you guys a challenge, the next 30 days, $1,000 is going to show up in unexpected ways. $1,000 is going to show up in an unexpected way if you spend if you're intentional, if you get into intentionality about really feeling those feelings and feeling the way, the excitement, the relief, the surprise, the abundance that you truly desire. Your thoughts are so powerful. Your thoughts are so powerful. And it's just like that cruise ship, you know, going out into the ocean. If you just change your thoughts just even 1 degree, like, I'm not saying go after perfection, you guys, because we're not going to be perfect. We're human. We're having this experience right now. But if you can change your thoughts just 1 tiny little degree, in the long run, you could end up being miles and miles off course from where you started. So if, you know, you're recognizing right now as we're talking, if you're recognizing that some of the thoughts you're having, some of the thoughts you're letting entertain your mind, entertain your mindset, are not serving you. And this could be language like, maybe you look at rich people and you're like, oh my gosh, they must take advantage of people. They must, or you think that somehow that they're different. Like, people have to people have to hustle, people have to cheat, people have to like be whatever it is, fill in the blank, whatever your thoughts are. What's up, Drea? So if you believe things, just switch it around, flip the script. You have the power of intentionality to project yourself into the realm of possibilities. And that's my intention in this summit, is to just like help you see that the women out there that are creating these amazing things, that have these amazing businesses, that are just like, you know, living their best life. I want to get you into the realm of possibility. The realm of possibility that this and more, whatever wealth looks like for you, whatever success looks like for you, that it is all possible. And that all begins right here, right now. Your thoughts create your actions, which create your beliefs, which create your reality. So take captive your thoughts. Flip the script. realize that those thoughts and those ideas and those beliefs and the lack of action is keeping you stuck. And you have the power to shift that in an instant. Believe it or not, your mindset is everything. You can use this in your wealth, in your finances, when it comes to cash, when it comes to money, whatever it is. Your beliefs are powerful. And once you take a stand for yourself, you take a stand for what you truly desire, you take a stand for what you truly believe in, that, my friends, is a huge game changer. So I hope you guys loved that. I hope you guys got something from that. Let me know what landed for you. What actions are you going to take today? What inspired actions will you take today to help propel you into your best life ever? And I do want to have a little raffle. So if you guys share this out, take a screenshot. I would love for you guys, this is going to be my challenge this week. If you take a screenshot of one of these trainings, tag me in it. Either on Facebook, you can tag me Valerie Nichols or Val Nichols Coaching, or on Instagram, you can tag me at It's Val Nichols, so ITSVALNICHOLS, just like it says up here. You can tag me, and I am going to enter you in this drawing. So tag away. You can tag me in your stories. You can tag me on your page. I would love to hear how pumped you guys are to be a part of this journey. I am so stoked to be a part of this journey with you. I'm so honored that you guys are spending your time. You're trusting me to be your guide, to be your host, to be your coach during all this. I just am so lit up by you guys, your energy. You're freaking beautiful. You're wonderful, and I love you guys so much. So with that, I'm going to draw a name for, oh, I forgot to show you guys what it's for. These super cute earrings. I'm obsessed with earrings. So these super cute earrings, I have these blue ones. I thought I had another pair, but it doesn't look like we do. So I have this pair of super cute earrings, and the winner is Lori! Girl, it is all you. If you don't have your ears pierced, or if you don't have your ears pierced, just let me know. We can chat about something else. I do have your address, so just let me know in the next couple of days, and I will send these out for you. Congratulations, Lori. Don't forget, tag away. Tag me. We're going to be giving away prizes every single day this week. And on our celebration call, we have a celebration call, you guys. So on our celebration call, which you guys will get more information about that later this week, I am going to be giving away so many prizes. So don't forget, take a screenshot of this. Share out one of the quotes. Share out something you love about this. I'm going to enter you in the drawing. Our celebration call, I'm giving away magic, you guys. So many amazing things. So I love you guys so much. I need to jump off and get on another call. I love you, love you, love you, love you. Don't forget to take your thoughts captive. Let me know if it works for you. Let me know the magic that you're having. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Bye. Go out there, live your best life.